You're watching the Spartan Sideline Report with Coach Debra Clark.
Hello, Spartan fans, and welcome to another edition of the Spartan Sideline Report here on NSUSpartans.com. I'm Ross Gordon, the play-by-play voice of the Spartans, joined by Mike Bello, Assistant Sports Information Director, and we'll be joined shortly by the head coach of the women's basketball program, Coach Debra Clark, and senior center, Batavia Owens. It was another tough weekend for the Spartans, Mike, as the Spartans traveled up to Baltimore, Maryland. It was Super Bowl weekend, so the fans of Baltimore were happy, but the Spartans struggled to get the points on the board in both games. Actually started in Coppin State, where Coppin State just really started off well, 22-3 in that ball game, and the Spartans never really recovered.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough. I mean, when you're down 22-3 at the beginning of a game, I mean, that's a tough to come back. You really have to play an absolute A+ game the rest of the way. And Coppin State's pretty much had their number for years now, but the Morgan State game was really tough because they were down by 4 with like 3 minutes left. And then NSU wasn't able to score any more points the rest of the way, so Morgan is able to squeak out the win against a team that they had beat on their home court. You know, coming in, they felt that they were confident they could beat Morgan again, so that was probably the tougher loss compared to Coppin for sure.
Coppin State victorious, Morgan State victorious, and then the Spartans return home this weekend. But for Norfolk State, it's just got to be a confidence. You got to build that confidence back, and we'll talk to Coach Clark about that. But the confidence thing, you see, once you win a couple games, a close game, a game where you can run away a little bit, you sort of see the confidence. And right now, we just have to get that.
Yeah, you know, it was tough coming off that Hampton loss the previous week, but they had beaten Morgan, like I said, 2 weeks prior, so they did have some confidence no matter what happened against Hampton. They had confidence, and you know, sometimes you got to wonder if when you keep losing those close games or those games that are just they're right there within their grasp, and you know they can't put that run together at the last second. You kind of wonder, you know, what's the mentality going forward, and you know, how do you overcome that? You know, move on to the next game.
Well, ask Coach Clark that now, Coach. Tough 2 ball games up in Baltimore this weekend. Coppin State, where we just didn't get off to a good start, and then Morgan State, where we just didn't finish well.
Well, you know, the Coppin game, we knew going in it was going to be a tough test. We played them close here, and the Coppin that I know and knowing Coach Brown as long as I've known him, his girls were going to be ready to play a lot harder. And I don't think we responded well to the energy and the aggressiveness which they came out with. We just kind of got behind early and kind of really never got ourselves out of a hole. And again, they are so much better at home, and they get the lead. They're a very good team with the lead, and we just never really got in sync. You know, one bright spot was Batavia. She came in and gave us 11 points, 10 rebounds. All our posts played a little bit better that game. Our scoring was bad, 29% from the field, and our primary perimeter scorers were not scoring, which made it rough for us.
Coach, you know, obviously going on the road, going up to Baltimore, that was, you know, playing those 2 schools has always been a difficult stretch for us. What did you kind of say to your team, especially after the Hampton loss last week? What did you say to your team going into those 2 games? You know, what did you tell them that you guys really needed to do to move forward?
Well, I thought again we got off to the Hampton game very, very slow, but I felt we were confident going into the Coppin game. Although we lost here, I felt we played well enough to win, except for the turnovers. And we were trying to emphasizing, you know, minimize our turnovers. We have to rebound with them. We did we rebounded even with them, but again, we had 25 turnovers. And on the road, that's tough. And the turnovers that we committed against them there were live ball turnovers. At the top of the circle, we could hardly recover on that. So again, we have to take better care of the basketball throughout the game.
Coach, I know it's important for us as a team to sort of build confidence, but really it just seems like Batavia's really coming into her own this season. We started off the season injured a little bit, and now she's starting to play a little bit better as the season has gone along. I know we sort of figured that would happen anyway, but she's really starting to play like
and I'm real happy because I've been talking to her all year long about, you know, when you're not getting what you want, you have to work until. And she's been committed to working hard, and I think this weekend really paid off. I mean, she was a lot more aggressive, she was a lot more confident, and in turn, she was a lot more productive. So if she can continue to do that the next 7 games, and our perimeter people can give us a balanced scoring effort, I think we'll have a chance to, to finish some of these games on the positive side.
As we bring in Batavia now, we talked about that a few moments ago. Your season started off, and it was a weird start for you, injured and car accident before the season started, and you really haven't been 100% all year. Talk a little about your season thus far.
I feel like I started off a little slow, but as the season progresses, I feel like I'm coming into the old Batavia. So I just hope that it continues into the next few games that we have, and I hope to help my team with the play that I've been playing, continue playing the way I've been playing.
When you're coming off that injury, you hurt your back before the season started, and obviously that's one of those injuries as a basketball player. If you're not completely 100% healthy when you have an injured back, it takes a long time to come back. I mean, talk about just how frustrating that was, especially coming off last season. You had a pretty good season as a junior, and you were really hoping to really break out into your own as a senior. Talk about how frustrating that was early in the season when you couldn't really get going.
Scoring 50% from the field and not finishing as well as I have in the previous year, it has been a little frustrating because I feel like I am better than what I've been playing. So this past weekend, I just tried to come out and give my coach what she asked me to do, what she asked for.
It's a big season for you. It's a senior season. Last year, you're a Norfolk native. This year, you're playing at home. You play in Norfolk, and your tournament's going to be in Norfolk. So this is almost the right way to go out if you're a senior. You get everything at home. Talk a little about what you want for the rest of this season, because everyone makes the tournament and everybody has a shot.
I'm just looking for progression. I feel like if we progress well enough, that we will go into the tournament and we will come out on top. We will come and win some games. And I love the fact that it's in Norfolk because I am from Norfolk, and I'm excited to go play at the Scope in front of my hometown, in front of all the fans. I'm really excited.
Throughout the year, you guys, your post players, talking about Rachel, you, Cronisha, Leonard, you've all had games where it seems like you guys really took over. Had the double-double, was really solid play. What's been the key for you guys? Or what's going to be the key for you guys moving forward, specifically for you post players, to really play more consistently as the season progresses?
I think we touched on the issue of confidence. If we have confidence, then we could do anything. That's the main thing. We have to have confidence. If we have the confidence to go out there and rebound and put the ball in the basket like we have been doing, then we will come out on top.
Coach Clark, we talked about how it's a post team by committee. You have 4 players who can really come in and give you any kind of production that you want. But we also talked about how on any given night we need to get it from the post and in the perimeter. We're still lacking that.
Well,
production.
that's the problem: consistency and everyone being reliable and accountable. Like I said, the weekend the post shot almost 40% from the field, but our perimeter players, we shot in the 20s, and that's tough to beat. We're going to have a concerted effort from everybody. Ava and Ebony, they're our primary perimeter scorers, and we didn't have good field goal percentages this weekend.
Hey, Coach, going into you got Delaware State on Saturday and then UMES on Monday. You've played UMES. That was the game that went to overtime, almost won it there at the end of regulation. But you haven't played Delaware State yet. So, I mean, what are you kind of telling your team? What's Delaware State going to bring to the table this weekend?
Well, they're in third place and under a new coach, and they're playing quite well here lately. Their biggest weapon is Tierra Hawkins. She's their power forward, and they average about 18.7 rebounds. So we're going to have to really limit her touches, defend her really well. Their scoring guard is averaging about 11 points. So they have a balanced scoring attack. They're going to guard. They play a lot of man-to-man. They're going to press us. These last few games we haven't had a lot of success against the press, so people are going to try to press us. So we're going to have to break the press. But the biggest thing I feel, along with our defense, we're going to have to score. I mean, we didn't score 50 points either game this weekend. It's going to be tough to win scoring less than 50 points.
Coming back home, Coach, I know that's one thing that should help us out a little bit more, because it seems like when we get rolling a little bit, we have to go, and we struggle sometimes on the road shooting the basketball. Is it a confidence thing for you coming back home?
Oh, absolutely. I feel good that the outside of Delaware State and going to Hampton, the rest of our games are home, so I feel really good about that. I know they're a lot more comfortable. It's just the typical home court advantage. So I think if we just be a lot more efficient, I think that's really, really important. I mean, our field goal percentage, defensively, people are shooting 38, 40% from the field. That's not good defense. So we're going to have to tighten up on defense and then finally put the ball in the basket.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Batavia. The Spartans will host Delaware State this Saturday at Joseph Eccles Hall. Game time is at 4:00 p.m. It's Alumni and Breast Cancer Awareness Night, so wear pink. Then on Monday evening at 5:30, the Spartans host Maryland Eastern Shore. Be sure to keep up with all of the news surrounding the NSU Athletics Department by logging on to the web at www.nsuspartans.com. We would like to thank the NSU Creative Services Department here for their help today, as well as Coach Clark and Batavia. For Mike Bello, I'm Ross Gordon. Thank you for watching the NSU Spartan Sideline Report on NSUSpartans.com.